Hi, everyone. Hello. Welcome back to another live stream with AskAwayHealth with me, Dr. Sylvia, and the very first of my faceless live streams. It has been one heck of a day. I woke up this morning with a plan, so many different things to do. And as life goes, it went completely the opposite direction. So I've just not had the time. I just knew that I was going to have a live stream today, and I didn't want to postpone it because I really want to be committed to my planned sessions. So yes, this is why you have the photo of me somewhere in the vicinity of these skyscraper buildings. But anyway, if you're watching the replay, thank you so much for popping in and for clicking on this. It's great to have you. If you're watching live, thank you so much for checking in. I don't usually do faceless lives, but it's just been a very rough day, and you guys know I always like to look my best. So I've not had the chance to put things together, and so we are faceless tonight. But that is by the by. How are you guys doing? I hope you're all doing well and ready for the weekend. It has been a very long week. Honestly, for the middle of February, it's been a very long week. Anyway, today we're talking about Ozempic. And this drug has been in the news for ages. It's not new, particularly if you live in the United States. I'm based in the UK. I practice in the UK, and we have not yet started using or prescribing Ozempic. But we will soon, very soon. I think it's going to come into our formularies, and it's going to be available for us to prescribe on the NHS and privately. So I think we're talking about maybe some weeks or months, I don't know, but very soon we should be prescribing this drug. But it is making a lot of waves in the US, and to be fair, it's not particularly new, because we do have drugs of that same class in the United Kingdom anyway, that people are using, that are used for weight loss, not just for treating diabetes. But I wanted to talk about one aspect of Ozempic, which I know everyone's talking about, how fantastic a drug it is in terms of losing weight, and how amazing the effectiveness, and we know about that. But I also wanted to look at what happens when you stop taking Ozempic. I'm particularly interested in that. So that's what we're talking about tonight. Thank you so much for joining in. Like I said, I'm a general practitioner based here in the United Kingdom, and I like to talk about everything that relates to our health. So whether it's women's health or sexual health, men's health and family health, it's all in here. And tonight, the focus is on Ozempic. Please give this video a like, and if you're watching on replay, thank you so much. I appreciate the support to the channel. Please consider subscribing as well. Well, let's get right into it. So what is Ozempic? So it's this weight loss drug, but before it was a weight loss drug, it was used for treating diabetes. It's also known as Semaglutide. So you might hear Semaglutide, or you might hear Wegovy, whichever, all referring to the same drug. Now, in the UK, like I said earlier, we do have some forms of the drug that they're in the same class. So in the same class of medication, it's called liraglutide and is marketed or branded as Saxenda. So you might be familiar with that one if you're in the UK, and if you heard of Saxenda, we're talking about drugs in a similar category. With Saxenda, it's a once daily dose, so you give the injection once a day. While with Ozempic or Wegovy, it's once a week. It's administered by injection as well, subcutaneous injection, so just underneath the skin, and you can give it to yourself at home. But for Ozempic, it's once a week, while for Saxenda, liraglutide, that's once daily. But in any case, Ozempic is a synthetic, human-made version of a hormone that we all have, which our bodies produce. And what our natural hormones does, that particular hormone does, is it regulates our appetite and controls sugar, the breakdown of sugar in our bodies. So Ozempic is the synthetic version of that hormone that we all produce, okay? And the job of that hormone is to regulate appetite, control the breakdown and use of sugar in the body, and it also has some effect on the cardiovascular system. So now, let's break it down. What exactly does Ozempic do? So I'm going to talk about some of the benefits which we've all heard about. We know that many celebrities, it appears to be the top celebrity drug. So many stars are using it to quickly get into shape. And I understand from watching different videos on social media, reading different accounts in the papers, that this is probably why there is a what's the word now? They're running out of stores of Ozempic, so that even people using it for diabetes haven't got access to the drug because so much of it is being taken up by the population for different reasons. But what does it do? So this drug reduces your blood sugar. It lowers your blood sugar, and it does that by making your body produce more insulin. So that's one effect. It can also slow down how quickly food leaves your stomach. So that means you end up feeling fuller for longer. It can reduce body weight and body fat by reducing the amount of energy or calorie that we eat. That's something else this drug can do. In other words, it helps to reduce your appetite. As some other person said, it blocks hunger signals, so it helps you feel full. And these are problems that many people who struggle with excess weight, who are obese or overweight, struggle with. In fact, the best way I've heard it described, I like that, is because somebody said, Ozempic works by hijacking your body's own appetite regulating system in the brain and leading to reduced hunger and calorie intake. So this is what it does in the body. It also reduces an individual's preference for high fat foods. And from the clinical trials, I know this is not so much hyped in the media, but from the clinical trials and studies that were done, performed on this drug, we're told it has a good effect on fats in the blood. So that means it might have something to do with reducing the amount of bad fats, increasing the amount of good fats. This is from the clinical trials. And it also reduces blood pressure and can lead to reduced inflammation. My goodness, what is there not to love with this drug? So if you're interested in Ozempic, I would expect that you do, particularly if you're thinking about Ozempic for weight loss. Guys, if you're just joining the stream, please like it. I know I've got 1 or 2 people watching now, which is fine. Like it. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm always happy to get people watching live. I know I get a lot more people coming in on the replay, but please give it a like. Let me know where you're watching from. And consider subscribing to the channel, of course. But if you're interested in Ozempic for weight loss purposes, it's good to do your research, okay? And watching this video, of course, is part of the research because I'm giving you information about how it works. But I also want you to pull your mind beyond how it works and think about the Ozempic journey. That's the title on the on my thumbnail for this video. And what I mean by that is, what next after Ozempic? What is next? What comes next? Because this is not a drug you're going to take forever. It's not it's not meant for lifelong use. Okay? And what happens when you either you've gotten to your target weight loss goal, fantastic, or for some reason you can't have it anymore. And an example is for people who use it in the United States where it's available. I'm told that it's costing about $900 a month. This is not a cheap drug. This is a drug that will cost some coins. Okay, so it may be that for some reasons, which may be 1, you've reached your weight loss goal, or 2, you can't afford it anymore. You stop the drug. What happens to that weight loss afterwards? What happens down the road when you reach your target weight or you stop it? Can you maintain the weight? That's the question. That is the question. Okay, so I want you to consider this very carefully when you decide, or when you're thinking about using Ozempic, or even the other versions, or the other drugs in that same class. I mentioned Saxenda earlier. It might look like a quick fix drug, because all you have to do is inject yourself with this drug, and it does all these amazing things I've just talked about. It helps to block your hunger signal, helps to lower your appetite, helps you feel full, and and it hijacks your body's own system in the brain and so on. But when it's stopped, what happens? Okay, This is not a drug that you can just take and assume you can eat anything and anyhow you want and not even bother exercising. I want us to be very, very clear, because the guidance is that Ozempic is taking us an aid to weight loss in collaboration with healthy eating and regular physical activity. It's really, really important to emphasize that. Very important. And I'm going to emphasize it the more because I think that it's a shame if you have to use this drug for 6 months or 12 months or whatever and get to your target weight. But when you stop it, the pounds pile back on. You start to put on that weight again because you've stopped it, okay? Because that is the downside of this drug. It doesn't change anything permanently, okay? This is a hormone-like material that when you stop taking it, the effect will wear off, okay? The effect of Ozempic is not permanent. I mean, even according to reports, people who've used it, even missing one dose, when they've been on an established dose, even missing one dose makes them feel very hungry. Imagine if you're off it for a week or 2 or 3. So what happens in that instance? So it's not permanent and it will have these effects. So I think personally, that as usual, when a new thing, a new fad comes out, a new drug comes out with such promises, it gets very, very glamorized, really over glamorized in social media, in traditional media. People are talking about all the good points, and then maybe we forget to look at the practical consequences. And one of them is what happens when you stop taking it. So there is that danger of people falling right back to square one, or even adding more weight after they stop taking it. And don't just take my word for it. Let me share my screen. I came across a very interesting study. So let me share my screen because I want us to read that together. Where is it now? Game changer drug. So I'm sharing this write-up from University College Hospital in London. So let me just share it. Let me just make sure that you can see it. There we go. No, you can't see it yet. Hang on. Why can't they not see it? Come on. I did test this before we started and it was showing, but it doesn't seem to be showing now for some reason. Oh, okay, hang on. I know why it's not showing. Let me take off okay, let's hide this. Yes, it's showing now. It should be showing now. I promise it is showing. So let us go back. So let me start. So this is a report. It's from February 2021. So it's fairly recent. And it's from University College London Hospitals. And it's just reporting this drug where it says a third or 35% of people who took a new drug for treating obesity lost more than 1/5, 20% of their total body weight, according to a major global study involving UCLH and UCL and supported by the UCLH Biomedical Research Center. So this is a report that was published in the New England Journal of Medicine, and it promises to improve the health of people with obesity and can play a major role in helping the UK reduce the impact of diseases like COVID-19, the drug semaglutide. So this is Ozempic, my friends. This is Ozempic, okay? And this is where I got that quote from. I love this quote. It says it works by hijacking the body's own appetite. Imagine your body's own appetite regulating system is kidnapped. And this drug leads to reduced hunger and intake of calories. Okay, so the Professor Rachel Batterham, she was the lead investigator for this study. And it was a big study, almost 2,000 people, or fairly big, not huge, but fairly big. She said the findings of this study represent a major breakthrough for improving the health of people with obesity. 3/4, 75% of people who received semaglutide, that's Ozempic, lost more than 10% of their body weight. And more than a third, that's more than 33%, lost more than 20% of their body weight. She said no other drug has come close to producing this level of weight loss. It really is a game changer. And for the first time, people can achieve through drugs what was only possible through weight loss surgery. So guys, if you are wondering why is everybody excited about this drug, this is why everybody is excited about this drug. Okay, so if you're just joining the stream, hi, thank you so much for joining. Please like the video and consider subscribing to the channel. I hope you're doing well. We're just reviewing Ozempic and trying to answer one question: what happens after you come off it? Okay, so let's just go back to this report that we're just reading, and particularly where I wanted to go to was a bit lower down here. Okay, so it says the average participant in the trial lost 15 kilograms. My goodness, that is a lot, 15 kilograms. This was accompanied by reduction in risk factors for heart disease, diabetes, like your waist circumference, blood fat, blood sugar, blood pressure, and they reported improvements in their overall quality of life. Fantastic. Imagine that could make such a big difference for so many people. Now, this is where I'm coming to, okay? The next paragraph here, let me just raise it up. Now, this is where I'm coming to. It says, Jan, a trial participant at UCLH who is from Kent, lost 27.6 kilograms, over 4 stones, or 22% of her body weight while on the trial. She said, the drug changed my life and completely altered my approach to food. Now, that is important. Altered my approach to food. I was a different person while on Semaglutide, that's Ozempic. I felt full after eating less, and I could decide not to eat if faced with food, as I didn't feel hungry, so didn't want to, something I'd never experienced before in my life. What is Jan saying? So, first of all, Jan says, let me get a drink. Okay, so first of all, Jan said she felt full after eating less, okay? So she was able to feel full. She didn't have to eat double or go back for extras. She felt full after eating less. And if somebody passed, or she passed the shop selling donuts or pizza or Chinese takeaway, she could decide not to eat if she was faced with any of those options and she didn't feel hungry and she didn't want to. So she wasn't led by her cravings, something she'd never experienced in her life. That's really amazing. And she goes on to say, what was great was that I didn't have to restrict. I didn't have to think about restricting what I ate or being careful. It was completely different from dieting, which can make you miserable as you feel like you constantly have to watch what you eat or count calories. Oh, Jan, my girl, I feel you. And I'm sure many people listening to me know what she's talking about. But guys, this is the most important. If you've not listened to anything I've said so far in this stream, this is the most important. Now that I am no longer taking the drug, unfortunately, my weight is returning to what it used to be. Oh my God. Do you know what? If you can lose 27, oh my Lord, just losing 5 kilograms, think of the buzz. If you've ever suffered challenges with weight, then you will know what even losing 5 kilograms means. But consistently losing, you lost the first 5 and then you didn't go back the next month. You lost another 10 or 5 kilograms and you didn't sort of fall off the wagon, and you carried on and you lost 20 and then 25. You lost 27 good kilograms. And then imagine having to experience the weight slowly piling on. That is so painful. That's so demoralizing. It's hard. It's hard. She says it felt effortless losing weight while on the trial, but now it has gone back to feeling like a constant battle with food. She says, I hope that if the drug can be approved for people like me, my GP will be able to prescribe the drug for me in future. So I really wanted us to look carefully at what Jan said, because I thought that captured it so beautifully. That's why I thought she captured it so beautifully. Her experience, because that's a real person's experience, and it's not just hers was in the clinical study, yes, but it's not just her experience, it's what other people who've used it have said. And so that's why I wanted us to talk about this. Am I trying to discourage you from using Ozempic? No, that's not my goal. I think that if it is the right, if you're in that place where you need to lose weight and you've struggled with just diet alone, or trying to manage exercise alone, or you have other medical issues and your weight is complicating them or creating more problems, then by all means, if this is an option that is considered safe for you and you want to go ahead with it, by all means. But I want to sound that extra note of warning, and I want to recommend, I want to suggest and recommend that while you're taking Ozempic, you really, really need to think about what happens after you stop, and use that period of time while you're on Ozempic to look at behavior change. Because at the end of the day, no matter how many drugs and things that we do, sustained weight loss is about changing your behavior. It's about portion control, for example. It's about healthier food choices, and it's about regular activity at the end of the day. Remember what I said at the beginning, that this drug does not cause any permanent changes. Even the more common side effects will wear off in majority of people. Some people complain about headaches, nausea, upset tummy, they might have diarrhea. Those are the sort of more common side effects. Of course, anyone who is intending to use this should have a proper discussion with their prescriber and be familiar with the side effects, because as with any medicine, there are side effects. But this, the more common ones, for example, will wear off. I haven't looked at the literature to see what the more rare or more severe side effects. But in terms of the more common ones that many of us would experience if we use Ozempic, many of them wear away when you stop taking them. And that's the nature of the drug. The effect is not permanent. So I'm pretty sure that when it becomes available in the United Kingdom, we will prescribe this drug on the NHS, even privately. And probably in a similar way to the way we prescribe other weight-reducing drugs. For example, people over the BMI of 30, or somebody whose BMI is more than 27 and they have other health problems like heart disease, we will prescribe for them weight-reducing medication. We've got a few, Orlistat and so on. So we use those guidelines, and I'm sure it will be available to people in the UK using similar guidelines. But the important thing is to have a plan. That's it. It's to have a plan that you're not going to be on this drug forever. Taking it long term may also expose you to, long term rarer side effects. That's a possibility. So it may not be advised for you to stay on this drug for years and years and years on end. So you will have to stop taking it, and hopefully you will stop taking it when you've reached your target weight goal, or where you're close to it. But what holds you up at that point? What prevents you from falling back? What prevents you from going down the route of piling on the pounds? Just like Jan was saying, that she gradually started to add weight again. The only thing that will stop that from happening, the only thing that will stop that constant battle with food, is during the time while you were using Ozempic and it was helping you to lose the weight easily and motivating you to continue your good behavior. Make that good behavior part of you. Make it a lifestyle habit. I know it's hard, and I know it's easier said than done, but it does need to be said, because we're trying to help ourselves. And I know it's hard. I know personally it is hard. But I would also feel so much pain. And you know what? For many people who are emotional eaters, getting to a point where you've lost X pounds, or 5 pounds or whatever, and then next week something happens, you fall off the rails, and then you add 5 or 7 pounds on top of what you'd lost. That can be very demoralizing, and you feel so low. You think back to square one again, and you feel frustrated as if nothing is ever going to work. And I would hate for us to be in that situation, having done all that work with Ozempic, and feel as if there's nothing else left. I would really hate for us to be there. And I think the best way is for us who are prescribing this drug, and for people who are using this drug, to please have a plan. If you're going to use it, fine, but please realize that it is to help your behavior modification. Behavior modification is how you keep the weight off in the long run. Ozempic can help you get there, and get there quicker, but to stay there, to not come back to where you were at before Ozempic, means that you need to have changed something in your mindset about how you eat. You need to have changed something in your mindset about how often you exercise, if at all. So, so that's my story. That's the sermon I came to preach. Guys, if you're just joining, hi, we're coming close to the end of tonight's session, and I've been just wittering on about Ozempic and the journey ahead of us with Ozempic, which I'm really excited by this drug. I'm so excited about the possibility of this drug. I'm going to put the links to the report I was reading from earlier. I'm going to put that in the description box once I finish this live stream, because I want you to have a look at it. And yeah, go ahead and send me questions about Ozempic. Use my email health information service. I'll put the link in the description box as well if you have a question about how to start it, about any concerns, worries about what happens when you stop it, because I think it's a really important discussion to have. At the moment, everybody is excited because, wow, we're losing weight very quickly. But the honest truth is that once you stop it, you could potentially pile that weight back on very quickly. So please, let's have that at the back of our minds. Guys, thank you for joining. Please give this video a like. Please subscribe to the channel. And I think, particularly for you watching on replay, the points I've made about the value of the drug, there's nothing, I don't think you can take anything away from that. This is a drug that has some very good effects. Remember, it's got side effects as well, but let's be fair, it has some very good effects. And for people who are overweight and their weight has an impact on their health, for people who've been struggling to lose weight for a very long time, this can be a game changer. The issue is how to manage it. It is not a quick fix. It is not a quick fix solution. If you can come away from this live stream with that understanding that you need to put in the work, and the work you're putting in is training yourself, training ourselves to how we eat differently, how we exercise differently, what habits we're putting in place, so that when we come to where we want to be with Ozempic or after Ozempic or Saxenda, whichever, we can maintain it because we've done the hard work in learning the habits. Okay, guys, that's me done. Thank you so much for watching. I know there are quite a few people watching the live stream. Thank you so much. But before you run away, give the video a like, please. And yeah, if you can share it with your friends, share it with somebody, because I tell you, the way this thing is running the rage in the US, when it gets to the UK or other parts of the world, this is going to be so much fun, so much of so much interest, this drug. So guys, I'm going to leave things here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I will see you again next week, next live stream. And I think you're probably going to be seeing me face to face in that one. But thank you so much for spending time with me. Bye, guys.